America is a country full of immigrants. This this is true. As a matter of fact, most of this planet is occupied by individuals who at some point in history immigrated, migrated, moved to that location. So I'm not going to take away from that point right there, right? America is indeed built on the backs of immigrants. Okay. Here's a difference though. When you had immigrants coming to these United States before they were even these United States, they were not getting handouts from the government, mostly because, well, there was nothing to give away. And there wasn't really an organized government at the same capacity, let alone there being programs in which these individuals would get free housing and free food and, free vouchers when it came to day-to-day expenses. Instead, you came here and you built a damn shack in the middle of the woods and you hope for the best, right? You had to build something from the ground up. That was the difference. You see, we forget that there was a time in history where there was no just grocery store, apartment complex, right? Nice little furnished neighborhood. No, that did not exist. People had to create that. Cities were planned out, right? It took architects to create these environments that we just now see as our normal environment. These places don't just pop out of nowhere. And so there were immigrants who came to this country. In the United States, one of the most, successful immigrants outside of Elon Musk is a man by the name of Andrew Carnegie. Andrew Carnegie is known as basically the father of steel in America, right? Or the father of the railroads in essence. And he was an immigrant from Europe. He was a wee little Scotsman, as they called him, right? A little Scottish dude, basically. And he came over here with his mama and they had nothing. Literally, they had, the shirts on their back and just a vision, a dream for the future. And so little Andrew built his way up, right? Working a little oddball jobs that he could. He had that entrepreneurial spirit and bug in him. And so he found his way into his place, not because there was somebody waiting with a check for him. There was no damn check. Not because somebody had built out a business for him none of that existed. Here's a job. There was no just thing to pick up and to do, right? The man had to build himself from essentially nothingness. And there are those who came even before him, obviously, that had even less than him, right? The Industrial Revolution led to a lot of what we now see as kind of the modern civilization that we enjoy. I know some people say it was one of the worst things that happened. Well, guess what? You're enjoying the conveniences of exactly that. So say what you will, but are you willing to go back to times before that? Are you willing to go back to those original colonies in America? If you are, then I'll trade you for whatever you got. You just go ahead and send me all of the resources that you currently have. You can completely eradicate yourself of all of that, and you can go back to the way it was in the original colonies, right? You can go ahead and get back into that little shanty, handmade home of yours while I enjoy whatever it is you've collected over a lifetime. But I digress. The reason I want to get into this is because DJT has officially put in an executive order that says no more taxpayer benefits for illegal immigrants. Now, mind you, this is coming from an illegal, right, with an L and an E, and a legal immigrant in the United States. I am also a citizen. Somebody said, oh, he's not even from here. What's the number for ICE? And I thought that was pretty funny, but it's unfortunate that, yeah, I'm actually a naturalized citizen of these United States. So good luck with that, right? I got my paperwork on me for real at all times. I keeps it on me, right? But anyway, as a legal immigrant, we never got a check from the government. We never got a voucher. We never got some sort of free housing. When we moved here, at least when my folks first moved to California, I was in Texas with my aunties and them. And then when my parents had basically, where they were ready to take me and my brother in, we moved into a Motel 6 room. That was like our first California experience and built our way up from there, right? Obviously, I was a kid, so, I wasn't really part of the financial aspect, at least not a significant amount of it at all, right? I helped around the house and did what I could as a kid, but we moved up from that and then moved to an apartment, and then from that apartment to, a little bit big of apartment, and, moved our way that way. There was no luxury hotel that was being paid for by the government. There was no free food. My folks had to get directly to work. They had a green card, so thankfully they could get employment, but they had to be gainfully employed. And we had to follow certain sets of rules in order to get naturalized at the end of that, upwards to 10-year process of naturalization, at least for us, right? But at none of that time do I ever remember just getting something from the government. And obviously my father is also a man who likely was not willing to take handouts when he knew that he could use his own hands, that he could work to get things done. My mother, she could work in order to put food on the table. And so that's what they did. So when I hear things like this, I don't feel some type of way. As a matter of fact, I think this is very good for the individual who is taking their own hard-earned money, giving it over, handing it over to the government forcibly, just to see that money given to individuals who are not even here legally. Like, these are people who have already broken one law, and there's many of which, not saying most, but many of which who have broken a multitude of laws, a host of laws. They have broken laws in their own countries of origin, and then in this country here, on top of breaking into the country without first being properly vetted and invited in. You see, that's how that works. You want to get into a country? Let the country invite you to live in that place, right? Go through the process necessary to get yourself legally there, and you'll be surprised, right? So long as you're not a dysfunctional human being and, you haven't created quite a negative reputation for yourself, there's going to be one avenue or another for you. Likely. It's not promised because it's not some sort of human right. It's not your right to be in America. It's not your right to be anywhere. It's an opportunity. In the same way, if I invite you into my house, that's not your right to be in my house. It's a chance. It's an opportunity. It's an invitation. So if you choose to do so, because I first chose to do so, wonderful. If I say no, then that's all there is to it, right? Simple as that. Hopefully you can try somewhere else and make a home in that place, or hopefully the place that you're currently living can get its act together. Unfortunately, where we were, they just simply were not willing to do that. It seemed that, as much as you tried to build there, they tried to essentially destroy what you're building, because that's what socialism does. Right? Don't be fooled by these social media socialists. True socialism looks like ultimate disaster. It looks like everybody's poor except for a small collective known as your government, right? Who controls basically all resources. That's how that tends to unfold in reality, not in like Marxist utopian, I'd say delusion, but that's the reality. I digress. So I want to get into this video right here of essentially just a breakdown of what the hell is going on with Trump getting rid of these taxpayer benefits. Again, they were never supposed to get in the hands of these individuals who are not supposed to be in the first place. And for anybody calling Trump a racist because of deportations, Bill Clinton had upwards to 12 million of them in his 2 years, just record-breaking numbers. Obama had upwards to 5 million in his own. Those are quite some numbers, right? If Bill Clinton was Michael Jordan, Obama is definitely Steph Curry. And truth be told, Trump needs to catch up. He's really, we got some work ahead of us. Like, he had 1 million in his first term. And so now hopefully you can get yourself to GOAT level, GOAT status. But, otherwise, you got some guys who definitely are going to be MVPs in American histories. So let's get into it.
Amazing. Meanwhile, how about this? President Trump signing an executive order ending all federal taxpayer benefits for illegal immigrants.
Lucas Tomlinson is live in Washington with more. Hey, Lucas.
Well, good morning, Ainsley. Good morning, guys. Some eye-opening numbers for you this morning. President Trump's executive order bars illegal aliens from receiving federally funded benefits to the total of $177 billion. And here's a little breakdown for you. It includes $59 billion for Obamacare premium tax credits, $43 billion for the earned income tax credit and the child tax credit, $40 billion for Medicaid and Children's Health Insurance Program, $15 billion for food stamps, $13 billion for children nutrition programs, and $4 billion for the supplemental security income. A lot of acronyms for you this morning. The Federation for American Immigration Reform estimates that federal expenditures on illegal aliens in 2023 total nearly $66.5 billion. This includes more than $23 billion in federal medical expenditures. And
anytime you hear tax or you hear government spending, please remember, even the word taxpayer, this is your money from your check, from your business or your job. That $66.5 billion is your money that is going towards this. This is why DJT won in that landslide victory. This is why it happened. This is why, he got unseen, unprecedented rates from every single demographic never seen before with a Republican president, at least not in modern history. This is why, folks. $66.5 billion of our money going towards people who are not even supposed to be here to get all the things that, many who are in this country legally, those who have been here for eon, they're last on the list for. God forbid you take care of your own citizens first who are actually adding to the pool as opposed to those who came here under the table.
$11.6 billion in welfare benefits. The Manhattan Institute estimates that every new illegal immigrant has about an average cost of about $130,000 to the American taxpayer. A lot of numbers this morning. Now, this isn't the only government program getting cut. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has ordered his senior military leaders to develop a budget to slash defense spending by 8%. He's ordered the proposed cuts on his desk by February 24th.
And whoever's opposed to that right there, I'm real curious what your moral compass is, because we've been talking about, slashing defense budgets in America, that, we spend too much on the military, et cetera, forever. Forever we've been talking about this. And it took this dude right here, Clark Kent look-alike, to finally make it happen. And you're just going to, that's the thing. Like, a lot of these issues are bipartisan, but it's made partisan because they've created such a disdain and a hatred for Trump. It's really incredible. Just common sense. How dare, Elon Musk and the members of Doge, how dare they find the corruption that's taking place with our money? They need to stop that. How dare them? So they're the problem, not the ones who are corruptly using your money, not the ones who are siphoning Americans' money for God knows whatever nefarious reasons. Those individuals are not the problem. It's the person who is telling you of the corruption that's obviously the problem. Interesting.
In a memo released last night, the Pentagon says, quote, "We must act urgently to revive the warrior ethos, rebuild our military, and establish deterrence. The Department of Defense is conducting this review to ensure we are making the best use of taxpayers' dollars in a way that delivers on President Trump's defense priorities effectively, efficiently, and effectively." Now, 17 categories would be exempt from these budget reductions in the Pentagon, including military operations at the southern border, nuclear weapons and missile defense programs, as well as building drones and munitions, guys.
Wow. So that number, it can be reduced, but it can't be. You can't just knock it down to zero, right?
That's correct. That's correct, Brian. And right now, the United States is spending about 3.5% of our economy on defense. During the Reagan buildup, that was about 6%. In Jimmy Carter's day, the low point was 4.5% of the economy. So some people like Roger Wicker want to see a boost in defense spending with all the hotspots around the world right now.
It'd be interesting to see them lean out at the same time they build up and start reforming.
The administration saying no more federal taxpayer benefits for illegals. What about people here that are on working visas? They're here legally, so would they still be able to tap into Obamacare?
This is only for the illegal immigrants, so green card holders, if I'm understanding your question correctly, it's just for the illegal aliens that entered the country.
Got it.
Well, yeah, that's not illegal. If you are here with a visa, young lady, I know that's a compliment to you right there, young lady, you're here technically legally. It's just for whatever allotted time that your visa is stipulating. If it's for one company for this many years or whatever it is, and that's the stipulations you signed up for, and therefore there is your legal reason of being here. But those who are not here through a vetting process, again, I don't have any level of sympathy for deportations when this has been going on forever. I mean, it is the job of the presidency, the seat of presidency, to secure our borders. Any president, not the American president alone, any and all presidents are supposed to be securing their nation. That is one of the top priorities of you as a leader of a nation, to make sure that your people are kept safe and essentially that those borders are being monitored. Not to open the floodgates for anybody to come in and essentially, to, God forbid, do what has been going on for the last 4 years, or at least the 4 years within the Biden administration, right? The weekend at Bernie's is basically what was going on in Washington. But yeah, I just wanted to tap into that. Every now and then I get into something that's just strictly political, even though I don't necessarily see myself as a political channel, though I may have my political leanings, etc. I view it from a standpoint of values. I view it from a standpoint of, ideology, belief systems, the things that I stand on. So more of the social aspect, and politics just so happens to be a representation of those things. So yeah, let me know what you think. Even if you disagree, maybe you want to see, illegal immigrants getting all the money that they want and, being pampered and taken care of and sitting up in the Ritz-Carlton. Maybe that's what you want to see. But, whatever your opinion is, you are welcome, more than welcome over here. Nobody's going to get blocked. Nobody's going to get whatever it is. Even the trolls, y'all can troll away. But I'm going to continue to talk that talk. So till the next time, appreciate y'all. Peace.
I used to be afraid of the dark, a place unknown like a heart in their heart. I used to see my life in the bar. Now the kids unchained, every shackle is lost. 2 steps in the moonlight, 2 step in the daytime. You just know when it feel right. You got a feeling the time's not. See you through those shades that I just threw on. Through my lenses, you just can't do no wrong. I fell in love with myself again. I fell in love with myself. I fell in love with the sunshine. I fell in love with the light. I fell in love with the full moon. I fell in love with the night. I can see the light again. I can see the light. You can see the life in him illuminate the night. I know the time is taking. A 365, that's a full rotation. I see you looking up, you know them constellations. Constantly gazing like house of praises, you get to praising. They see your light shine, that's why they so frustrated. Even the sofa in Nova Scotia will win the bagels. I couldn't get them ease on the grease, why they burning up. Money growing trees, feel a breeze, still you show.